What's up everybody, Steven Z Killer here. It's time to bring you a new reaction video. But before that, 75% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed. This means two things. You're either brand new to the channel or returning. And I do hope that this video gets you to hit that subscribe button today. Last year, we didn't hit our goal of 400,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. We almost got there, and we were so close to 100,000 new subscribers in that year. But I still need more people to join and subscribe to get my channel to hit 1 million subscribers. This upcoming year, the new goal is 500,000 subscribers, and I need you to hit that subscribe button today so we can hit it this year. I know we can do it. What's up everybody, Steven Z Killer here with another reaction, and it's time for some more spooky, creepy horror. And you guys know I've been reacting to these infection horror alternate universes videos, and you guys have been absolutely showing so much support for these video reactions, and you guys have been giving me awesome ideas of what to check out. And today we're checking out the Smash Bros. Infection Horror Alternate Universe Lore Explained video that a lot of people have been asking for in comments and whatnot. So this one in particular is kind of cool because I never expected or thought about a storyline on Infection AU or anything like that that might involve Smash Bros. Now, growing up, I loved Smash Bros. I played it on the N64, the GameCube, and the Switch, pretty much. Later down the line, I never got the Wii. I never got the 3DS. It was N64 for me. Was my first experience with Smash Bros. Then it was GameCube, aka Smash Bros. Melee. Then many years later, on the Nintendo Switch, Smash Ultimate. And if you guys are longtime fans, you guys know that I actually used to do a stream every week for 3+ years straight, where I was playing Smash Bros. And streaming and gaming with members and viewers on my channel a long time ago. So seeing a story told to us where we're going to see the universe, the multiverse of Smash Bros. Brought together in a probably like zombie or some type of virus. It's an infection of some type. Horror. I'm intrigued. And off the bat, we're seeing Ness right here holding some type of orb of some type. Don't know what it is. But either way, if you haven't seen this video yourself, go like the original one. Link is in the description down below. Let's get into this video and enjoy it right now.
Many of you have been asking me to cover the Smash Infected AU called World in Dark, and as the name implies, this is another one of those AUs where characters get infected and start to attack their peers, just like we've seen in the fundamental paper Education, specifically the...
Hey, I just hope my boy Kirby it doesn't get infected too quickly. Kirby? Who else? Captain Falcon has also been one of my favorites to play as. I'm trying to think of other characters I was pretty okay with. I'm forgetting the name of the dude from Castlevania that was in the game. I'm forgetting his name, but I also know that I was okay at playing as him at times. Yeah.
The Vitality AU, or with the iconic My Little Pony Infection AU. But now we get to see the infection go.
I'll be honest, I've been seeing a lot of people also ask for My Little Pony Infection AUs. I don't know if I will tackle that anytime soon. You guys gotta convince me. I'm not a fan of My Little Pony. My Little Pony, whoops. My Little Pony. I've never really cared for it too much. I have reacted to some stuff in the past that does involve some characters, but I'm not like... I don't know the fan base that well or anything like that, so it's not my interest. But if there's enough demand for it, maybe I'll consider it. And plus, I guess it's more of a horror gore factor thing. It's not really the show, but I'm not sure about that one.
Go after your favorite Smash characters. Now, this AU was created by a TikToker by the name of Notchloof, and I may be saying that wrong. Forgive me if I butchered the name. But as of now, the series has about 11 parts to it. And what we know
Oh,
so
wow,
far
okay.
from reading Ness's notes is that the first person to actually be infected in this world is Kirby. And I
No! No, not God! No, not Kirby, no!
You may just see him as like this cute little character similar to Jigglypuff, but in actuality, Kirby is a absolute monster. Kirby is one of the few characters that have actually defeated literal gods. He can warp through reality, and even in one of the Smash scenes, I think he was like the only survivor. And this makes sense because in reality, Kirby dog walks almost every character in Smash.
True.
And I know some people may like put contenders up. Like a lot of people think that Bayonetta may actually be able to beat him. I don't think that that's true. And the other one that people say a lot that may actually be true is Sora. Because if you know anything about Kingdom Hearts, Sora is actually really powerful. But most of the characters is simply no contest.
Shout out to my boy Toon. He's been craving and wanting more on Kingdom Hearts 4. Please, someday that actually happen because my boy is suffering. My boy is suffering!
So with that being said, it was really no surprise that Mario is one of the first people to actually fall victim to Kirby, since he was one of the first people to actually run into the corrupted version of him. The sad part is that he was actually just trying to see what was wrong with Kirby because he could sense that something wasn't right with him. But then Kirby struck out with these like weird tentacles, basically getting a sneak attack off on him. But we do actually have a few survivors in this first part, and those are Cappy, Ness, Sheik, and the Villager, and also Marth. And even though it looks like they all had a bit of a battle with Kirby, Marth was the only one to actually take damage because he is like the pure melee fighter out of them. And since Marth was so close to Kirby, Kirby was able to actually attack him with one of those tentacles, and that actually started the infection process.
Gotcha.
But luckily, the Villager was able to cut off his hand before the infection could spread, Walking Dead style. We also see this image of Kirby with Mario's severed arm hanging out of his mouth, showing just how creepy he looks, but also just how he completely obliterated Mario here. We also get to see like
my boy Kirby.
Each character has a stat sheet basically showing if they are infected, how much health they have, their sanity level, fear level, and hunger. And while most of the crew is in good shape, we see that Marth is a bit beat up, but not too bad considering that he's missing a dang hand. Next, I
love that they went as far as having the same like font and everything as the Smash Bros. Percentage life stuff.
Have chapter 2, which is broken into 2 parts, and we get some vital information in this chapter. From Ness's notes, we see that they are actively taking steps to contain Kirby so that he can't cause too much trouble, but more importantly, we get to see what the symptoms of the infection are. Something that I find scary is that in phase 1 of the infection, people don't really feel any different, and any onlooker wouldn't be able to actually tell that they're infected.
Is that supposed to be how he got infected right here, that little chunk that's out of his arm? Is that the only thing that looks like that him taking damage to get infected right there?
It isn't really until phase 2 that the infected person really starts to look sick. And some things to point out in this image is that the wound is festering here. The virus is forcing Kirby to actually have this weird smile on his face. And if you look at the bottom here, his hunger is at 50%, which explains why he felt the need to devour Mario. Phase 3 of the infection steps it up even more with Kirby, and this is where we actually see him develop those black empty eyes, and at this point he has formed tentacles that he can use to spread the infection. The only good news is that the infected people are not in hunter mode yet, meaning that if you just avoid them, they won't actually come after you. So this tells us that the only reason that Kirby may have attacked Mario at this point was because Mario approached Kirby to actually see if everything was okay. And while it hasn't been confirmed at this point of the series, there may even be a 4th phase where the infected character will begin to actively hunt people down because their hunger and aggression are at 100%. Now in the second part of chapter 2, we get some information about what is happening in Kirby's world, aka Dreamland. And the text says, inhale, take a deep breath. Do you like the cold spring breeze? Go deep inside the green forest and look at the stars falling down. Don't worry, there's no one left in there. Not in the village or anywhere else. The only thing you hear is the violent gusts pulling your last taste of safety away. Stop holding on to the ground. His hunger is torturing him, and his appetite is only growing him bigger. You really wish that this was all a bad dream, don't you? After this, we see that Ness and the crew have found Kirby, and now he is this massive monster with tentacles growing out of his mouth and face. And based on what we just read, it sounds like Kirby has consumed everybody that was living in Dreamland. And this kind of explains why Ness says,
Okay, so off the bat, my thought process, my thought process is this infection might be so devastatingly bad, and since his size is growing, and we know it's a hunger thing, I feel like if they don't put a stop to Kirby, Kirby could get so large that he might just eat the whole fucking planet. Anyone else feel the same way? I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Dreamland is gone. After that, we move on to chapter 3, where we learn that Ness and the others were able to escape Dreamland mostly unharmed, and they ended up going to the villagers' homeland, which I believe is called Sacred Land. We learn that the villager doesn't seem to be panicked about the infection, but that may be because they are from a very peaceful land.
You know,
so the threat
that motherfucker seemed too cheery. Like when we go back, like if we go back to that last image, hold on, let me get that image right now. If we go back to this image right here, where look at this little
sanity level at sheet, basically showing if they are infected, how much health they have, their sanity level, fear level, and hunger.
This motherfucker's a little too cheery. What's going on? And also mention he's got a fucking bloody ass axe, even though that's probably due to the arm he cut off earlier. But he just seems too happy. I don't trust the villager. Also, I didn't like the villager as a character in Smash Bros. It sucked.
Bad dream, don't you? After this, we see part of chapter 2. We get some information about what is happening in Kirby's world, aka Dreamland. And the text says, inhale, take a deep breath. Do you like the cold spring breeze? Go deep inside the green forest and look at the stars falling down. Don't worry, there's no one left in there, not in the village or anywhere else. The only thing you hear is the violent gusts pulling your last taste of safety away. Stop holding on to the ground. His hunger is torturing him, and his appetite is only growing him bigger. You really wish that this was all a bad dream, don't you? After this, we see that Ness and the crew have found Kirby, and now he is this massive monster with tentacles growing out of his mouth and face. And based on what we just read, it sounds like Kirby has consumed everybody that was living in Dreamland. And this kind of explains why Ness says Dreamland is gone. After that, we move on to chapter 3, where we learn that Ness and the others were able to escape Dreamland mostly unharmed, and they ended up going to the villagers' homeland, which I believe is called Sacred Land. We learn that the villager doesn't seem to be panicked about the infection, but that may be because they are from a very peaceful land, so the threat may not be registering for them just yet. It also seems like Marth didn't go to Dreamland because he was still recovering from his injury, and Sheik seems to be worried about something, and I assume that it's either Link or Hyrule in general, since that is her kingdom. Now, she tries to leave on her own, but Ness is able to actually convince her to stick with the group for now, simply because there's safety in numbers. And while Sheik is pretty strong, if we're being honest, if she went off by herself, she would probably end up getting slapped up pretty quick. Now, we also learned that Kirby is unable to leave Dreamland for some reason, which is a good thing because it means that he won't be able to actually go infect any other people. But Ness also points out that Meta Knight and the King seem to be missing as well. And while the King missing may not be that big of a deal, Meta Knight has always been seen as Kirby's rival, so having him on the team would be like a huge help for the uninfected side. The last thing that stood out in this chapter is that all the universe portals have been dispersed, and Ness believes that whatever infected Kirby is responsible for that, which may imply that they are not just dealing with a random virus, but maybe something that is sentient and intelligent. At the end of chapter 3, we see that somebody is keeping a log that isn't Ness, and they seem to be actually sending the robot named Rob out to help bring infected back to a lab so that they can experiment on them and figure out what's actually going on. And as we move over to chapter 4, we get a bit more information about these logs. The first major thing that we learn is that the writer of these logs is actually Dr. Mario. And in the logs, we see that once Mario was killed by Kirby, Dr. Mario started having weird dreams about things that hadn't happened to him personally. And in order to get some answers, he actually went to the Dreamland.
So wait. Dr. Mario is actually just his own character, not just Mario wearing a doctor outfit. What? What?
see if Kirby had anything to do with all this. And while he was there, he overheard Ness actually speaking about how Mario was killed by Kirby. And this freaked Dr. Mario out because now that the main Mario is dead, he thinks that since he's like a spin-off Mario, that he may die as well if he ends up going back to the Mario universe. But even with that knowledge, Dr. Mario still wants to actually help make sure that the Mushroom Kingdom and Princess Peach are safe. So he started doing research into this infection, and luckily he ran into the robot called Rob, or ROB. And he actually found this guy like out in the woods just wandering around, and since he's a robot, he can't actually be infected. And this is why Dr. Mario is actually using Rob to go out and find infected people and bring them back to the lab. And that is where we get the character called Olimar, who is from the Pikmin games. And he seems to be like in the early stages of the infection. So when Rob brought him into the lab, he still kind of had his mind and his senses. And it seems that Dr. Mario was able to create some type of pill to kind of help stop the spread of the infection, which we learn actually spreads faster if you have more than one sting on your body, or if the tentacles like hit you in multiple spots basically. Unfortunately though, by the end of this chapter, we see that Olimar has entered stage 3 of the infection, meaning that while Dr. Mario may have found a way to slow the infection, he definitely hasn't found a way to cure it. The next chapter in this series is called A Game of Watching, and it shows Yoshi and Luigi walking through the forest at night. And as they are walking, they actually keep hearing like the sound of bells in the distance. And eventually they realize that this tall humanoid monstrosity has been stalking them through the woods, ringing a bell. And at first I assumed that this is probably the cause of the infection, or like has something to do with it at the very least. But after watching the video over again, I think that this character may be like Mr. Game & Watch after he has been infected. But we're left at like a bit of a cliffhanger here, and we don't actually get to see if Luigi and Yoshi are able to escape from him. Now, I want to point out that like in these dark scenes, or I guess we can call like these distorted scenes here, there's some hidden text. And from what I can make out in this first scene, it says, "You are aware this is your fault," right? In this panel here, it says, "Do you know who I am?" And in this last panel, it says, "You do know now," or "You do know me." It's kind of hard to make out. And while we don't know what that means for sure, similar text will be popping up later, so we'll go ahead and
I could see how this could be possibly infected Game & Watch.
Dissect those two when we get to them. And
although I will say the eyes, those look like cartoon cat eyes.
Similar text will be popping up
Also,
later, so we'll go ahead and dissect those two when we get to them. In the next chapter, we learn that Olimar's infection has gotten too severe, and they actually have to put him down. And to make his death even more sad and just like overall gross, they actually found a bunch of little Pikmin inside his body, and they were devouring him alive, which is another reason that the infection moves so rapidly with him. This also might mean that the pills are more effective than Dr. Mario may think. Olimar was simply a patient that had a lot of stuff going wrong with him. Something else that this chapter revealed is that the Smash World has...
The Pikmins inside were infected and keeping the infection strong, so the fact that it's held it back, but if he didn't have the Pikmins inside that were infected constantly eating him from the inside and reinfecting him, there could have been more of a longer duration that he could have survived. But RIP.
Has changed completely since the infection has arrived. The major changes being that all the characters now have blood, and I know that that may sound weird, but no character in Smash actually bled before this moment. The second major change is that if characters die now, they don't simply revive on that little disc, but they just stay dead like regular people. Some good news in this chapter, though, is that Mewtwo and the Swordsman Mii actually pop up to Dr. Mario's base, and they both seem to be clean of the infection. But apparently they were chased by like an infected character, and by the looks of this picture here, it looks like Red, or aka the Pokemon trainer. Also notice that in the distorted text, it looks like Red, or chased by like an infected character, and by the looks of this picture.
Yeah, Squirtle! That definitely, yeah. Also look at the hat. Yep, I can see it.
Here, it looks like Red, or aka the Pokemon trainer. Also notice that in the distorted text, we see the words, "He doesn't know he's lying." Now, while at this point, all I have is theories because the series isn't done yet, I think that the person speaking here is either Dr. Mario or somebody referring to Dr. Mario. And I believe that Dr. Mario is the person that actually started this virus. And I think that the death of the real Mario has scattered or scrambled his brain, which is why he's having all these weird dreams and may not remember actually creating this virus. I also find it interesting that Dr. Mario just happened to run into Rob, who as of now is the only person that is capable of handling the infected characters, almost as if he had already planned this in advance. But as the story unfolds more, I'm sure more evidence will come out. And finally, this chapter ends with Ness and his whole group finding a base in the woods, and I assume that this is going to be Dr. Mario's base, but it's kind of hard to tell for sure as of now. Now, the next few chapters are interesting because they are fully animated.
Ooh, we don't get too many of these with the animations I've seen. Snake! What character was that?
And with that, this animation
R.I.P. Snake.
is interesting because it shows Snake running from the infected Inkling and then hopping in.
Oh, the fucking Inkling. Yeah, okay. From Splatoon, I forgot about that character.
To the water to get away, only to be faced with some large Eldritch monstrosity version of the female Inkling. And while I don't think anyone is surprised that Snake didn't survive, it is kind of sad to see him like be one of the first people to be taken down on screen. But I think what's more interesting about this chapter is the description, which reads, "You must have been running for so long. It's exhausting. This game used to be so colorful, didn't it? It was the idea. Why did you have to make that silly mistake? Why did you have to ruin this fun little world? Are you even aware of what you did? Do you think that idea was worth it? I guess sometimes you just want to drown all your problems, but no amount of water will dissolve what you signed for." Now, while we don't have much confirmation as to what this description means, it sounds like they're talking about how Smash went from a cute game to a more gritty game with the release of characters like Snake and Bayonetta, implying that these darker characters may be what is causing the infection to be happening in this world,
Okay.
basically turning more tame characters violent. And it may just be me, but the description also makes it sound like it's the fault of the viewer or like the player in some way, as if we modded the game and corrupted it in the process. But for now, that's just my theory. It's hard.
Well, also, the fan base was very demanding on getting even more crossover characters, which is probably what led to more characters like Bayonetta, Cloud, Minecraft Steve, and stuff like that, and Pyramithra.
Hard to really have any definitive answers for this particular thing
Sora being added to Smash Bros.
right now. Now, after that, we get another video that goes like this.
R.I.P. Pikachu. Not Pikachu, Pichu. Did Mewtwo just use teleport? Oh, fuck. Oh, no, not Mewtwo. He is stabbing the heck out of Mewtwo. Yeah, I could tell.
Now, as I'm sure you guys remember, Dr. Mario had been sending Rob out to collect infected characters and bringing them back to the lab so they can be experimented on, which is why he came back with this seemingly dead Pichu, which is another example of how the infected characters still have a lot of their intelligence. Pichu was able to actually trick the doctor and Rob by playing dead, and then he was able to roam freely around the lab. And I assume that Mewtwo teleported away from the sword fighter because he actually wanted to snoop around the lab and make sure that everything was on the up and up. But he ended up being ambushed by Pichu. And can we just take a moment to acknowledge that a baby Pokemon was able to take down one of the most powerful Pokemon ever? I mean, some of y'all may be
Yeah, it is kind of ironically funny.
too young to remember, but Mewtwo literally stopped a fire blast from Charizard. Something else that I want to point out is that we learned earlier that the more stings a character gets, the faster the infection spreads. So Mewtwo is actually cooked here.
Yeah, and that's going to be a scary mutated infected character.
Only saving grace here maybe is that the words Destiny Bond are in the description of this video, which may mean that Mewtwo is going to try to take Pichu down with him, but that will only work if Mewtwo is actually dead, not if he's infected. So I'm curious to see like how the words Destiny Bond will play out and if it will actually mean anything later in the series. And I'm also curious to see if Dr. Mario, Sword Fighter, and Rob will be able to handle two infected beings in the lab, especially since it's Mewtwo and Pichu. I mean, they're both powerful in their own right, obviously. And if I'm being honest, I don't think the odds are in their favor, but hopefully I'm wrong. At the end of the video, we also get to see like who's alive, dead, and infected at the moment. And sadly, it looks like Yoshi didn't make it out of the forest. And more importantly, it looks like Mewtwo is dead. But I'm not going to count him out yet because the next chapter...
Oh, so Luigi is missing, but not known what happened.
Chapter kind of debunks his death, and I'll explain that when we get to it. Now, the final video in the series so far goes like this.
Greetings, inhabitants of the Mushroom Kingdom. Here's your princess to inform you of an imminent crisis nearby. Please remain calm and listen to the following instructions to keep you and your friends safe.
I wasn't expecting this.
There is a dangerous virus affecting certain inhabitants, specifically those who have invitations to Super Smash Bros. As far as we know, anyone who does not have an invitation is immune to the virus, but not to the attack of the infected.
Okay.
We do not know
So you can basically be killed by the infected, but you can't be infected.
Mario's whereabouts, so we invite everyone to stay in the safety of their homes, and if you are in one of the following areas, please evacuate to a safer zone. You could be in danger. Western regions of the kingdom.
So joyful, you can be in danger.
Rainbow Curse. Mushroom Kingdom 2. Golden Plains. Grassy Planetoid. Mario Circuit. And New Donk City Hall.
Oh, is she just naming off all the fucking stages that are in Smash Bros?
As your princess, I really hope everyone is safe during these times of crisis. We've been in worse situations before, so I ask everyone.
Something tells me something just fucking killed Daisy or infected Daisy. What the fuck is that? Oh my god, it's a fucking piranha plant! Wait, go back. Luigi's fucking dead. Daisy's fucking dead. Peach is fucking dead. What the fuck?
We said that Luigi actually survived the forest, but he's obviously damaged, and I wouldn't be surprised if he was infected. But luckily, he's able to alert Peach and Daisy about what's going on so that they can actually at least inform the people of the Mushroom Kingdom into what's going on. But then we see that infected piranha plant burst through the window, and judging by the fact that we see Luigi and Daisy get X'd out here, I think it's safe to say that they are now dead. Although we do see that Mewtwo went from being dead to being a question mark, so it's possible that they may actually make another appearance in the future. And the fact that now we see DLC fighters actually being added into the mix means that this series can get a lot crazier if the creator really wants to. I'm also very curious as to what's going on with other characters like Sonic, because I would find it very difficult for him to actually get infected, but if he did, imagine how easy it would be for him to actually pass the virus on to other people, considering how fast and strong he is. And of course, characters like Sora, Sephiroth, Bayonetta also come to mind because they would also be monsters to deal with. But to wrap up, my theory right now is that one of the characters in the Smash universe is probably the cause of the infection. My prime suspect is Dr. Mario.
I can agree with that.
But I've also seen some interesting theories about it possibly being Ness who started all this, and even Marth. But I think that Dr. Mario makes the most sense because he has the intelligence to be able to make the infection in the first place. But let me know what your theories are down below, and I'll make sure to continue covering this one as more videos come out. As always, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe today to become a member of the Orse Force, and we'll see you tomorrow with another video. Peace, peace. Many of you...
All right, well, there you guys go. Whenever part 2 does come out, I will definitely have to try to tackle it at some point. Because this definitely is very interesting, and I love the world build and all that stuff. So, and of course, if there's other videos you want me to react to from the same channel, once again, let me know down below. Stay tuned for more videos. I do upload every day. I strive for 2 videos every day. So stay tuned for another one, possibly today. If not, today is 4th of July. Depends on my situation. But if this is the only video today, then stay tuned for more videos tomorrow. And if not, there should be a video later today anyways. Well, anyways, bye. Thank you for watching.